Hello everybody, how are you today? Hope you're fine. Today we are going to talk about the food chain and the food web. Okay, so I can call the food chain or the food web or classify them according to the food relationship that happen between the animal. Okay, so there is a relationship in our ecosystem which is consists of living organisms and non-living organisms and the interaction between them in the ecosystem. And also, we are going to start to study the food chain and the food web, how the animal are connected by food relationship. So animal need to food or need food to live, and what do different animal eat? Here we are going to have an activity. What do animal need? So what to do? The sun makes plant grow, which animals eat the plants. Okay, so we know that the sun it is a primary source of energy and the plant use the sun to make their own food. So I call the plant a producer. Okay, I call the plant a producer. So which animal eat plant and which animal eat animals? So the animals mainly depend on the plant to get what they need. Okay, so sometimes they eat the plants directly or feed on the plant in indirect way by eating plant and then eating the animal. Draw the sun on the yellow stripe and draw some grass. يبقى we are going to draw the sun and also we are going to draw some grass and then draw the birds on the red stripe and grasshopper on the brown stripe. Put the things in order and make a chain of stripes and glue them in the order of food. Communicate, describe the order of food chain with the partner. Okay, so remember the activity with the three other animals, communicate how you put in them in the group. So we have here a kind of grass and also grasshopper and the bird. We are going to use like a stripe or a glue to just connect the animal in order. Okay, of course the producer is going to be first one, and then grasshopper is going to be the second one, and third is the bird is going to be the third one. So what is a food chain? I wanted to know the meaning of food chain. Food chain, which means it is a model of the order in which living things get food they need. Okay, so this is a model that showed us there's a food relationship and how they can get the food they need, they need among the animals. So most food chains start with the sun, which is give the light energy to the plant so the plant can make its own food. And there are many food chains. Some are on the land and other in the water. So we have a food chain that happen on the land and other food chain that happen in the water, and then we call it marine relationship. Some can be both on the land and water in the same time. So the food relationship show us the food or the model in which living things get the food they need, how they get the food they need, okay, and the relation between the other animals. So here we have the sun help the plants grow. So here we have the sun that help the plant to grow, okay. So then we have the insect that eat plant, and then we have the lizard that eat an insect. Okay, I can see this is an ordered relationship that the animal that feed on another animal. Water food relationship, we have here the sun help plankton. So we have a plankton that live in the water. Plankton, the sun help the plankton to grow. There is another animal which mean krill would eat the plankton, and then we have the seahorse eats the krill. So it is like a food relationship. Show us the food that the living things need or feed on. We have the zooplankton that is growing by the sun, and then something like the shrimp, which mean krill eats plankton, and then the seahorse is going to eat the krill. Okay, so animals eat plants or another animal. An animal that hunt other animal for food is a predator. So the animal that hunt another animal, I call it predator. But so we have here the lion and we have the deer. So the lion prey, the lion hunt the deer. So I consider the lion as predator, but I considered the deer is the prey, the animal that's been hunted. So animals they are hunted by predators, I call it prey. Some animals eat plants and animals that are died. Some animals eat plants and animals that died. And animals such as worm break the dead living things into small pieces. Okay, but again, some animals eat plants and animals that are dead. There is, I call it decomposer. They eat the dead animal. And this example of this animal that eat the dead animals, I call it worms. I call it bacteria. There are different examples. They are going to divide and break down the dead organisms into small pieces. Act out of food chain with okay. We have here the snake. The snake eat the lizard. So here we have the lizard and the snake eat the lizard, and then we have the hawk that eats the snake. Here we have the large fish. It eats the small fish. A large fish such as tuna eats a seahorse, and here we have the shark that eats the large fish. Okay. What about the desert food web? Food web, it has more than, it's like something complicating than, or complicated than the simple food chain. It's, I call it food web. Here we have the animal feed on a different kind of animals, not only one kind. So Arwen, the food web go from the food to the eater. This is the food, and the going to eat the snake, the tiger. Tiger going to eat the snake, and also going to eat the bird, going to eat the rabbit. So what are different food chains in this web? Okay. So food web, it is a two or more food chain that are connected. Sometimes of one kind of animals is the food for many animals. Okay, so it's يبقى food web, which means more than one food chain. They are connected together. Okay, so more than one food chain, they are connected together. I call it food web. Mice are eaten by hawk, owl, and snakes. Animals also eat more than one kind of animals. Hawk eat a mice, rabbit, frog. So animals eat more than one kind of animals. So we have here the hawk can eat a mice, rabbit, and frog and snake. If you put this food chain together, you have a food web. Okay, so again, a food web represents like a linear food relationship between the animals. The animal only eats one animal, one kind of animals. When you put more than a food web or food chain together, it brings me the food web. What are some other predators and prey? We have different kind of predators and prey. Um, we can find them in the land and also in water. Think and talk, main idea and tail describe example of food chains. So we said that here we have the grass, and the grass is then eaten by the rabbit. And here we have like another animal that eat the rabbit, maybe the snake. Okay. What is a food web, which means more than, it is like a two or more food chain. They are complicated food relationship. Write about how are parts of food chain, and think of the healthy lunch and show how your meal is a part of the food web. Draw the web. Okay. So writing in science, food web for lunch. Emma is having a chicken as a sandwich for lunch, and she drew a food web to show how each food is related. So it has it can eat a chicken or a kind of plant, lettuce. Okay, so it's like a kind of plant or kind of animal. and after this die, so the beetles can feed on it. Okay, so write about it. Explain how Emma the chicken and lettuce and wheat form a food web, and think about the food chain in Emma lunch to help you to form a food web. When you are writing to explain, you tell the steps in order. Okay.